This chapter introduces some really fantastic features with the Excel program. The first one that I want to make sure that we cover is the flash fill option. What's interesting about flash fill is if you have a series of names like these and you just start to type, and in this case we're repeating the email address. Okay, so all I have to do now is come in to use the flash fill option, and see it's taken the first letter and the last name and then added the @email.com, and you can fill from there. Now it went up here because it's filling anything on this column. The textbooks, what it's actually having you do it is a different way, but I wanted to show you how it would do it to everything here. So I'm gonna do it the textbook way, which would be to do J. Bennett, and I'll just add something else like gmail.com instead of email.com. And then the next one, same format, mfred at, and then I just have to come here and do the flash fill. That still did it to the ones above. I wasn't sure it was going to do that, but it did. I thought it would stick with just the ones below. So we could have just done it without having to type the second line. So what I've done is I've deleted the ones above, obviously, because they're not actually the email addresses, but it gives you an idea how it works. And you should use the one that the book says is the domain name is at email.com. Let's go on to the next feature. Okay, the next items where you were supposed to put in some more titles, so I'm just going to pause the video so you don't have to watch me type. Now, I may skip over some of the formatting because I want to make sure that you're understanding the formulas, and that's what's most important to me right now. But I've added the labels. You were supposed to format the sheet tab and change the name. That's part of the instructions. And then we're coming into the entering of the formulas. Now, in this particular formula, we're working with the gross pay first. Now, gross pay, most everybody understands. You're going to take the hours worked times the hourly rate. Here, I'm going to make these columns, these labels, a little bit easier to read. And we can just click on the wrap text option and we'll go there. Okay, so next, what I want to do is just start the formula. Always start a formula with an equal sign. Then what you do is you just click on the cell you want to work with, which is in this case is the hours worked, and we're going to multiply. So the multiplication symbol, and all of these math symbols are on your number pad. So make sure that you're just looking at your number pad and paying attention. Now it's my hourly rate, so I just click. So I've set up a formula. It says equals the gross pay times the hourly rate, and I hit enter, got my total, and now I just have to copy it down. Okay, so now next one is the federal tax. And so what we're going to do is in this one they're saying, okay, now let's take the federal tax, which is 0.22 times, and we got to use some parentheses here, the gross pay minus the dependents, and then we multiply times 24.32. Okay, and close the parenthesis. I want to enlarge my screen a little bit so we can look at the formula together, but I'm going to hit my enter, and then it's going to be a little bit easier, I think, if you see this at a larger scale. So I'm going to put this about 190%. Okay, so now I'm going to use my show hide button, my I'm going to display my formulas for you, and I just want to take a look at it. Okay, so here's the formula we just created. And the point here is that if I click on that formula, see it highlights also the cells that we're using. So the point that I want to stress is one of your math operators that you learned about was called the order of operations. And in this particular one, if you remember the order of operations, it's please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, parentheses, exponents. Let's go back down here and look at it. Let's put it over here so we can see. Okay, so it's please, and zoom in again. Excuse my dear Aunt Sally. And some people call it PEMDAS, okay? But it's parentheses, exponents, multiplication, and division, addition, and subtraction. Okay, so you've just got that's your order of operations. So when I come here and I look at my formula again, I'm seeing, okay, it's anything in the parentheses, it's going to multiply first. So what it's doing, it's taking the dependence and it's multiplying it times 24.32 and then subtracting it from the gross pay to get the federal tax. Okay, so let's go. I'm going to do my control tilde again to turn the feature off, and so that I can just copy this one down. Let's go to the next, your state tax. Your state tax equals 0.4 times 0.04 times the gross pay. So we just click on the gross pay again, hit enter, and again, autofill the contents down all the way. Now we have the tax percentage. And the tax percentage is going to be formatted for taxes. Okay, the tax percentage is calculated by, again, hitting your equal sign. And we're taking, first off, the federal tax plus the state tax, and then we are going to divide the gross pay. Okay, again, you just have to make sure that addition happens first, and then you'll divide and with the gross pay. So again, all I have to do is either click on my check or hit enter, and then I can pull this one down. Now let's go to net pay. So your net pay equals the gross pay minus, and again we're putting something in parentheses, the federal tax plus the state tax, and then we have to close off our parentheses. So this is going to, the federal tax plus the state tax is going to add up first, then it's going to subtract it from the gross pay, and then we hit enter and come on down here. Page 66 actually has a pretty good table in there that gives you the arithmetic operators on it that you want to make sure that you look at. And those operators, most of them are on your keypad, but you'll notice the percentage then is is up by the number 5, and then you have the exponents, which is the caret, which is by the number 6 on the top, on the upper key numbers, and everything else is on your keypad, your 10 keypad. So I'm going to take this back over. Okay, this next function is the one that you did in the previous exercises, and it's just using your Autosum. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you a quick way to do this. And so we're totaling everything up. And so we want to total up the hours worked. We don't need to worry about the hourly rate. So I'm going to hold down my control key, come to the gross pay, and across all the way to the net pay. And this is real cool. Remember, it'll add everything above it because it doesn't have any numbers to the left or in that row. So if I hit auto sum, it summed up all the rows in one cool sweep. Okay, now we were supposed to have okay, so for this next feature, we're going to figure out the highest and the lowest and the average. And Excel has automatic functions just like the auto sum, but in this case we need to be really careful of what cells that we choose. So for the highest, it's the maximum, and I get to come up here in the auto sum feature and look up, there's maximum. And see what it's done here is it's picked up the row 13. If I worked row 13 all the way across when I copy this, that's going to be a problem because I'm going to pick up all the totals, and that we don't want. So let's just start from 4 and bring her down to 12, and then we've got the maximum for that's just the right column and rows that we want to work with. Now all I have to do is use my autofill, bring her all the way across, and I've got it filled properly. Now let's go to the lowest option, and again I can come in and drop this and go to the minimum and come up to cell C4, bring her down to C12 because that's the only area that I want to work with, and I hit enter. And I just want to show you a different technique rather than copying across right now. I'm going to do both of them at the same time. So now I'm going to show you the average function. Come here, go to average, grab the right data, click enter, and now the only thing I have to do is take those two together and pull them across the copy. So that one's done. Now, our next part is to format. Okay, before we start formatting, the textbook is telling you to change the theme. Now, if you remember, we did themes in Microsoft Word, but you just need to make sure that every time it talks about a theme that that you've got the correct theme. The one for this spreadsheet is workbook. So if I look on page layout and come up to my themes and look for workbook, I don't see it. Oh, it just says to change the workbook theme. Click Ion. Oh, it's Ion is the theme you're supposed to use. So let's look here. Droplet feather frame. I don't see Ion either. Oh, there it is. Right here. Ion. Got it. Okay, so that changes the theme, and notice that it changes the font and all of those types of things as well. So now I believe we're going to start formatting the numbers, but let me see what's next. Nope, looks like we're formatting titles. So first thing, we're taking the Olivia Art Supply across, and we're going to merge this one. I can do that with a right click, and it has a merge option, merge and center. That's it, the same option is on the home ribbon band. I think they're showing you the home ribbon band option, but I used the right click just so you could see that it's there. And same thing here. Right click, and now I can come up to home, go to my gallery, go to my title style, and then I think we're doing title style here again and taking the font down to 14 for the subtitle. Now, if you didn't get the correct ion theme, this next feature is not going to work for you because you'll have the wrong colors. So I'm grabbing the themes here, and what we're going to do is we're going to fill the inside of this. Now you can see the fill option here and the fill colors, and they're calling it blue gray accent 5. So if I come over here, that's blue gray accent 5. Oh, it's supposed to be 60%, so it would be that one. Is it lighter 60%? Yes. So that one would be it. And then we're choosing a frame around it, and they want you to go to the frame option for borders, and it's a thick outside border. I don't think they tell you a color. No. So I think we're going to end up with black. Yeah. Okay, next. Okay, now we're working with the headings, and they are highlighted here. We're going to center them, go to heading 3, and that gives you all your headings. Then we're coming down to the totals and using the total style. So again, come up to styles and find the total style. Okay, just like the other spreadsheets, we're taking this first row of currency and we're formatting that for accounting. And we're taking the total row and formatting it for accounting. And then we're taking all of these that are for the average, maximum, and minimum, and we're formatting those for accounting. Now, I'm hoping that you know, oh, what's wrong there? That's nothing. That's just the fact that that particular column was not wide enough for the numbers once they were formatted. So all I have to do is double click between this D and E and it will enlarge that column. Okay, the next process. I'm taking all of these numbers, and I do know that this one's supposed to be percentage over here. I'm going to change it. Well, I could take it off now because that should be percentage there. And when I do these numbers, what I'll do is I'll hold down my control key and get the other range that's currency there. And then I just can click right here on comma style and that will give me what I want. You can also go into the number format and say without the dollar sign, but comma style always lines up the decimals with the accounting style. So it's perfect. Now here I need to format all of these for percentage, and so what I'm going to do is use my format painter and just paint it down. And that one's percentage as well. And we have a problem. So that one is probably a figure that shouldn't be there. And here also percentage. And the average percentage shouldn't be there. It's just go maximum, that one. I think here this formula for the percentage is supposed to be different. I mean for the total, for the percent. Okay, what you were supposed to do for the tax percentage was to copy the formula from this cell to the other, to the tax percentage cell, and to the totals. So what I want to do is to show you the formula again. And when we're looking at the formula, we can see that the formula that is in here needs to take even the total from and do the same function that it does for the tax percentage up here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this, but there's a trick to how you copy it and not erase the formatting that's already there. The text has you do it a different way, but you need to know this trick anyway, so I'm going to show it to you. Okay, so if I copy here and then I go to paste, see there's many paste options and I can paste completely, see, but I'll lose my format. Here, the values, the formulas, see that's just the formula, it's not the format. And so it's still keeping that total format there. And so I can copy it. And what this is telling you is that it's different than the others. And that's true. That one's okay. It's just saying it's just an inconsistent formula. And that's because we should probably ignore the error. So we just click on ignore the error. And now I'm going to just hit my escape key so the dancing ants around that I-12 go away. Okay. All right, so I've got my formulas in. Now I still need to format the date. Now, as you can see, there's no date in here right now. And that's because dates are numbers. They will do calculations. They'll add and subtract, and they'll do all sorts of different things. So these numbers actually do represent a date. And it's the reason why it's the way it is here is because I took out all the formatting before I started this one. But in order to put in the formatting, I would just need to come up to the date and look at the formats they tell you to use. And I believe it's this one. Oh no, they want the two digit, and two digit. Okay, so if I click on OK, my dates come in in the correct format, and we're good to go. One other little formatting deal they want you to use is the increased decimals. So for your percentages, you're supposed to have them out 2 decimal places. And that's pretty simple. Excel always works in decimals. So in order to increase the decimal, you just have to push this button on your home ribbon band for increasing. And I just hit it twice and it's out the 2 decimal places. Okay, one of your last steps here is to take and create a condition, and it's on the hours worked. You're going to make any one of these cells use conditional formatting. So it says that, okay, I'm going to highlight the cells if it's, I think it was greater than, let me double check if it's greater than 72. I know it's, yeah, it's greater than. Okay, so I'm highlighting these cells. I'm going into conditional formatting and putting in greater than 72 is the number we're using. And oops, 72. And then what we need to go to next is to determine all of the color coding because it wasn't supposed to be that pink. So you go into a custom format, and this is where you're choosing your font. No, your font color was white. I believe it's this one, white. Yeah, background 1. And then your fill color is supposed to be, I believe it's this one. Okay, so if it's greater than 72, it's going to have a white font with that fill. And I click on OK, and it worked. And so we're in good shape. Okay, so the conditional formatting is a great feature as well. I mean, I've been using it on a blood pressure chart for my husband, and it's working great. So here we go to see if there's anything else we need to put. What they're trying to get you to do is to understand how to set specific measurements in your columns. So I'm looking at, let's see, column G. Oh, okay, so in column G here, oh, we're doing these all together, I believe. So we're going F, G, holding down the control key, going to J and K, and then we're making it a specific width. which is 93 pixels. See what happened? These are 93 pixels now, but see if you look at it, it's 49 pixels. You should be watching the pixels because that's what they're referring to, and then you're just making it exactly 93. There we go, and let go. Okay, so that's to give you the widths, and you're supposed to follow the guidelines in order to format it. Now let's look at one last thing, and it is printing already landscape. You probably had to set that up. So it would be to come in here and go landscape. And again, page setup, same place that I took you last time. And the header footer option, if they're telling you in some of these custom headers, they're going to tell you to type your name in there. So make sure that you put that information in, because that's definitely one that I look for. And that gives you some kind of an idea of what this assignment's supposed to look like. You need to get all the details that are in the chapter, though. I've just given you some highlights here. So enjoy, and let me know if you have any troubles.